Good morning, everyone. Well, I feel a little nervous today, actually. I gave a talk last week, and I thought I didn't have any nerves at all, and it's kind of been the way it's going, but I feel so empty today, so I'm a little nervous, hoping the words will come through, because this truly is not rehearsed in any way whatsoever. Usually my mind will get a little bit busy, like trying to, just to make sure I've got some stuff in the background in case, so I'm not fully empty. Today I'm pretty empty, so we'll see where this goes. That's my disclaimer before you hear the talk. There was I don't know what it was. I think it was last summer. Laura, my wife, she was walking at the end of our street where there's a golf course at, and all of a sudden she finds herself being attacked by blackbirds. And have any of you had this experience before? Yeah. They're very defensive when they're nesting of their young, right? And so she's telling me about this. My son was there with her. She's telling me about this. And she's running down the road screaming with this blackbird attacking her. Now, I thought that was very funny. She did not find it that funny, actually. And so we go for quite a few walks, and when we get on trails, I always brattily, if that's a word, remind her there's a blackbird over there in the tree watching you. So I don't know what it was, maybe about a week ago, we were having this conversation, and if there truly is this thing called karma, I believe there is, I said to her, I'm actually really surprised that I haven't had this experience as much as I've given you a hard time. So yes, then either the next day or the day after, I don't remember what it was, I was coming home and I saw something in the road. I wasn't quite sure what it was, and at the last moment I thought, I think that was a little bird, and I went so that my tire tracks were around it, and I looked back and it was fine, it was safe. I'm like, well, I better. It was a little blue jay. I better let this blue jay help it off to the side of the road so nobody hits it. So I went over there, and next thing I know, hits me right in the head. A mama blue jay had come along and say, do not mess with my baby. And I'm like, oh, wow, that felt a little violating there, And so any case, I'm like, okay, and so I thought, I'll keep my eye on her and see if I can do it. Nope. And so I'm like, so she comes at me again. This time I raise my arms up, and she veers off to the side. And meanwhile, so I thought, okay, she's over there. Well, I don't know if it was Papa or if I got deceived, but he comes and hits me from the backside of the other way. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll leave baby alone. Hopefully I'll send a prayer and a blessing. Hopefully baby will be okay. So I go home and I tell my son, and he said, Dad, you have to do me a favor. And I said, what's that? He said, please don't tell Mom unless I'm with you, because I want to videotape this. I'm like, that's fine. So she gets home, and I said, Maverick, Mom is home, and so he comes out, and she's like looking around like, what are you guys up to here, And I said, well, I have a story, and I think you're going to like it, And so I got telling her the story, and she started laughing, and she said, this is the best day of my life. So if you have not confirmed that I'm an ignorant fool at times, let me be clear on that. It happens. Well, the talk today is giving up the escape route. And really what it's about how we're always looking to blame someone or get out of something so that we don't have to experience our own pain. Alora did some songs on darkness and, connecting with this whole idea that we all have darkness within us. We all have pain within us, and to not make it bad or wrong. If a lot of times when we're listening to friends, we're trying to be a good friend, and what it looks like sometimes to be a good friend means to say, it's going to be okay. Is it? What does that mean? Is it going to be okay? We really don't know how it's going to turn out. Now, on one hand, spiritually, we can say it's going to be okay because everything is unfolding exactly as it needs to, right? But when we look at it a little bit deeper to say everything's going to be okay, it's kind of our effort to say, let me try to alleviate and relieve your pain, right? And we do that with great intentions, and in fact, most of the time out of love, because we care for the person and we want to ease their pain. But is it possible that pain is exactly what's needed to move them through whatever's going on? Just a thought. And so I'm saying the more we can just really hold the space for them, to just allow them to have their experience, say, you know what, I understand. Let them feel your heart, let them feel your compassion, your empathy, but let them have their experience. That experience is there for a reason. And not only do you begin to allow them to have their experience, you begin to allow yourself to have that same very experience. So important. I remember a long time ago, Rosie O'Donnell, and I want to think it was Trump before he was even thinking about running for president. I think a long time ago, they were in this battle, and he was calling her a loser and just some of the vernacular that he normally uses, and she got in this big battle with him. And I remember, I think she was on Oprah, and Oprah said, is there anything that you would do differently? And she said, I wish I had the courage to be with my own pain. I wish I had the courage to be with my own pain. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful awareness even to have. Because let's face it, this world, certainly this country, is so full of blame. I'm not even making that bad or wrong. You know, I do the same thing quite often. I do the same thing. But I realize, and you guys, most of you have heard me say this before, blame, as long as you're making someone or something else the problem, you're not giving yourself a chance to grow and heal. Because now you're a victim waiting for someone or something else to change. And I just don't find it helpful. Studying with Sadhguru, if some of you are familiar with him, he did quite a spiel on, can you take 100% responsibility for your life? And it was powerful, and I didn't even realize how powerful it was, because it was only later on in my years that I thought, you know, it is only by taking 100% responsibility for everything in the world that I began to heal my own so-called reality. Now, a lot of times when you say taking responsibility, people's shoulders go, you know, like taking on all. I don't want to take on all this responsibility. It doesn't mean that you have to engage in everything. It simply means that you have an opportunity to engage that which is pulling you to engage, that which is spiritually inspiring you, inspiration to inspire you to do something about it. And one of the examples Sadhguru had given, which I love, he said, if there was a little 2-year-old boy that was on the side of the street and he ran out into the road, you would not hesitate to help him out if the parents weren't looking. You would hop right in there. Why? Because we take responsibility at some level for that. If you didn't care, you know, you would just let it play out however it was going to play out. True? So taking responsibility doesn't mean you act on everything. You can't act on everything. We can't fix or heal everything, at least not in the world. Within us, I would say differently. But you have to have that certain kind of attitude if you really want to come to a place of peace in your life. We'll see. I'm waiting for the next thing to flow here. I'm very hard on myself at times, but I don't stay in it. And I'll tell you, you know, when you're trying to avoid the pain, it can just show up in so many different ways. And so just being present with it, just accepting that it's there for a reason. If you truly believe that everything happens for a reason, I happen to believe that. My teacher has said, and I've said it here many times, there's not one single hair out of place in the universe. Such a powerful, bold statement. Robert Adams, the awakened teacher, said, you can't even do this that's not even you doing that. It's like everything is happening through us, but we, of course, identify with ourselves as the body or mind, so we think it's us. But nonetheless, if everything is truly happening for a reason, why would we fight any of it? But we do. We do. And we get caught up in falsely identifying what the mind is saying. See, the thoughts and the pain are not the problem. We try to fight against it, and that's where the suffering comes in, right? If you're fighting against life, that's where the suffering comes in. If you're trying to avoid the pain, the suffering comes in. And so we can say that pain is anything that you want in life to be different than what it is. If you want something to be different, there's going to be pain there. If you have expectations of how this is supposed to be, there's going to be pain there. I'm going to say something, and some of you are going to be like, oh, Brett, what were you doing thinking that, you know? I was just coming here on my way, got off 94. There was a homeless gentleman over that was, looking for donations and stuff. And I saw him talking to somebody. I'm guessing somebody was giving him some money. And I see the light is green, and it's really holding things up. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to make it through a light. Conduct your business. Finish up with your business. You know, I thought, you need to step up this process, you know. That's where my mind went with that. And part of me, I was noticing my mind thinking that. And then I was also noticing feeling a little guilty, like, oh, Brett, that wasn't a very good thought at all. That wasn't spiritual. That wasn't loving. That wasn't kind. I also was teaching a meditation class one time, and I revealed honestly, intentionally with someone, there have been times that I have loathed people and have wished that they were dead. And the one person she's like, oh, Reverend Brett, how dare you, you know? And I said, well, why do you feel that way? And she said, well, I would never, think that, And I'm like, well, what if you did have that thought? Have you not had any dark thoughts before, And of course, we've all had dark thoughts. It's not a question. And in the meditation by Marilyn said, you don't control your thoughts. We don't control our thoughts. The thoughts come whether we like it or not. That we're no good, we're not good enough, they're not good enough. The thoughts will come. So I was asking her, what is so bad about that thought? And what was so bad about it is she believed because I had the thought that was the truth. Right? That's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. The world is crazy. It's crazy. I think everyone can acknowledge that. It doesn't matter what side you're on, political parties or whatever. There is craziness in the world. It doesn't matter that there's craziness in the world if you stop listening to all the craziness of your thoughts that are contributing to the craziness of the world. The reason things happen in my view, my perception, is that they're happening because we need to have that experience to wake up to the truth, which means waking up to stop blaming, waking up, and I'm not going to say stop judging. I'm not even going to say stop blaming. You can judge all you want. You can blame all you want. God bless you. Good luck. Just good luck. Because I know that is not going to lead us home to who we are. So I got to say right now, political leaders are huge teachers for me, whether I want them to be or not. And there's really only one choice, right? Well, there's two choices. Either you blame and you stay in the quagmire of what is your mind is saying, or you say, Can I simply come back to this present moment right now? Can I come back to just being a witness and be aware of all of these thoughts without needing to fix or change them or fight them? That's typically what we want to do. We want to get in our fights. Oh, Reverend Brett, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have thought that. That's horrible. It's just a thought, you know? It's just a thought. And we have to begin to take this kind of posture if we're really going to experience peace in the world. And we can see there are many, many, many people right now, and there's more awakening every day, but there's many people that are experiencing complete peace in this world right now. Do they have something you don't have? No. As Jesus said, you can do all things I have done and even greater things. I take that literally. I literally take that in the most profound way possible, that we have that same capacity, but we're caught into this world of illusion, and we're looking for some way to escape the pain. If you don't do anything else with your life, if you can just embrace the pain. Look, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be thoughts that come up. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be thoughts that say, I don't want this. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. Great. Let those thoughts come up. It's okay. Let them be, and be present with those, but recognize that's not the truth. We avoid these thoughts. We avoid this pain. I don't know. I guess, yeah, we avoid the thoughts because we don't want to experience the pain. We don't want to experience the pain. I'm inviting you to be present with the pain. That's all. Just to be present with it. Look, I have played the role of victim for so many years. I was a professional. And I tell people, please don't try this at home. Really, don't try it at home. But obviously it didn't lead to anything good. I may have told this story a long time ago, I don't remember, but my brother and I were on the Au Sable River, which we would go canoeing and camping quite often. Was an annual trip. We'd go in the fall time. It was beautiful. We'd drop the canoes in, and we would just fish down the river. And we got to our camping spot, and we pulled our canoes up on the river bank. And my brother started cussing and swearing. I'm like, what are you so angry about? He lifts up his sleeping bag, and it's soaked. You know, we bag them up to try to keep them dry, right? And he's so angry. And then next thing I know, as I'm unloading the canoe, he is laughing so hard. And I'm like, what are you laughing about? He said, it's not my sleeping bag, it's yours. Needless to say, I did not find the same humor that he did in that. But that was my life so much. I attracted this energy of being the victim. I attracted this over and over and over again until one day I said, I don't want to create that anymore. I don't want to create more suffering. I don't want to create more pain. And the only way I know to do that is to accept everything as fully as I can. And that means the anger, the frustration, maybe the hatred. It means embracing all of it, but not being pulled into any of it. And to me, that's what Jesus meant when he said, be in the world, but not of it. Stay as the witness to all of it. Let the thoughts come up. Let the anger come up. Let the frustrations come up. Yes. Am I out of time? Oh, okay. All right. Wow, that went really fast. So, okay. Let me see. I would leave you with this. It's okay. Honestly, it's okay. Sometimes we tend to push away from the pain, and it's okay. But ultimately, it really is up to us to say, welcome it into the best of your abilities. Welcome it in. Allow your heart to open, and if you can, even to give thanks for it. When you give thanks for your pain, that is like the greatest healing possible, because there's no resistance, and the pain can heal very, very easily. Thank you so much. Namaste.